Hi, this is Yifan, and this is my video reflection to APUS history class. And this week, we are asked to do a 5 minutes video reflection about American pageant, first 8th chapter. And I'm gonna talking about how the American colony to become independent and overthrow the British government. And this part of history really got me thinking that why people do that. And in our book, Coney and Cohen clearly states that 100 years of different life has prepared them to do so. And why 100 years of life will prepare people to do? And I find interestingly really strikingly similar history to compare to American independence. So as we reading those chapters, we can know that the American people doesn't really want to be independent at the first place. They're thinking about they are part of British government and they are subject to the British king. What makes them to be different than European is their life, or the new world has treated them differently than the old Europe. So they develop that sense of liberty and sense of new ideology ever since they come to this continent. And in 7th or 6th chapters, we are talking about how the series of incidents and the British government act has pushed them forward to united and share the common ideology to against British government. And this history is really similar to what's going on right now between mainland China and Hong Kong. Even though what I'm talking about was really against my PC, but I'm still gonna say it's really interesting story and the history event if you compare American independence to the struggle of American independence to the struggle of Hong Kong and mainland China. You will find that the humanities are actually playing a big role in this process. So this summer I actually went to Hong Kong for a week-long study of business. And since I'm not really interested in that, so I kind of go out and explore the Hong Kong city. And when I went to the ICC, the International Convention Center, I witnessed a protest towards the mainland China governor. And this is really interesting to say that the protest actually consists of two parts. One part is the opposition is kind of people who does dislike Chinese government. They are protesting to kind of to wish him get away to out Hong Kong. Another part is people who are their supporters, kind of to support and to show their loyalty to Beijing. And really interesting that those are all local Hong Kong people, and not some foreign groups or some mainland people who are supporting them. Both sides are composed of local Hong Kongese. Why this happening? Because I feel like the same statement which apply to American history can also apply there. Because 100 years different lifestyle have prepared them to be a different Chinese citizens. Their citizenship are not kind of defined by modern communist China, are more defined by this democratic or capitalism Britain. That's why they're so different. And the reason why the local Hong Kong society was divided, because they actually go through different time period. The old people kind of experienced and heard about the old history regarding maybe the separation from Hong Kong, the separation 200 years ago, the unpleasant history that took the control of Hong Kong and become the legitimacy government. And the young people maybe just know the prosperity and the economic proper was kind of made by British government. So that's why they kind of appreciate the effort and endeavor in the Hong Kong society, not just view them as colonists or they're superior to them. So that's why they kind of appreciate what they've done to the Hong Kong. So that's the difference between people who support Chinese Hong Kong government or support the old colonist British government. And what I'm gonna say is another similarity between American history and the things going on right now, because now we know 1 year ago, there's a big resentment protest in Hong Kong called the occupying the central Hong Kong, and the Beijing actually sent troops there and kind of want to squash and deal with it. And that was a consequence of serious drastic incident and like unintentional acts, just like American history. Like we know that American people want to or have the feeling against British because a serious act like Quebec Act, intolerable acts, and something even about the taxes, tea and sugar, which seems really insignificant compared to the big history, trend, and ideology between the New World and the Old World. They're just pure money talk. But here between China and Hong Kong, people are talking about ideology, democracy, and capitalism. It's so like fancy terminology in front of two different society. But all I feel is that it's economic. It's people's life are being changed by this. Since Chinese government several years ago, maybe 10 years ago, opened to release the freedom to go to Hong Kong if you are a mainland citizen. So people are like flood into that small city. Hong Kong only have 10 million people, and the city size is not even as big as Dayton. So try to imagine like there are 500,000 like non-Hong Kongese, they are mainland Chinese, and they speak different languages, and they have different lifestyle due to the like 100-year separation. So that definitely brings this like reverse cultural shock after they reunion with the mother country. So that's kind of there was a repugnance or the adversities going on, and also because the tourist was like going into the city, so the rent and the retail industry grows. The retail industry growth definitely is a good thing, but for some small vendors and from grocery stores, they are not happy seeing that their rent is increasing every single month, and they cannot afford rent to support the family. So that's why they hate mainland Chinese. And since this summer, I actually talked to several local Hong Kongese in English, pretending I'm not mainland Chinese, and I got some pretty objective answers. They don't hate Chinese. They are part of Chinese society, and they know that they'll always be Chinese, and they know, but there's some identity's dilemma. They feel like I am Chinese definitely, but Chinese doesn't treat me well, so I want to be different Chinese, so I'm Hong Kongese, don't call me Chinese. That's an emotional dilemma kind of like happened 300 years ago in those American colonists. They always be considered the part of a British society, and they are loyal to them as long as the mother country treats them well. But once the mother country kind of to exploit the colony, they feel a sense of not belonging. They feel they are a part of outside society, not into society. So that's why they want to kind of to react, to show the resentment to the central government, to show that, hey, we are still part of you, guys. And also there's another part of really interesting similarity between those two things. Are the central government really mistreating them, like mistreating those colony, or did British government mistreat American colony, or does Beijing mistreat Hong Kong? The answer maybe both are no. So those acts are not actually just targeting the American colonists, and they are not trying to like punish them in the first place. They just want to to gain more control and actually some profit from this colony. Same with Beijing. Beijing doesn't really want to just oppress the entire Hong Kong society and totally want to exploit the Hong Kong people. They just want more control and to let them follow the order, and not totally and not in a complete democracy. They all have their political agenda and economic agenda, just because they don't understand each other. Like American colonists don't understand why British government are enacting those acts, and just seem like Hong Kong people really cannot fathom out why Beijing don't give them the full democracy. So that's why the conflict goes out. It's not purely or mainly the patriotic, independent thinking or some progressive ideology. I think more realistically is life. If my life is really well and I live happily in society, nobody wants to rebel. If my life was changed badly and my original lifestyle cannot going on and things go bad, my salary is decreased, my living condition is not as good as before, definitely people are not happy, are not satisfied or happy with it. They will do something about it. And that's all a part of humanities. That's not because certain people, certain ethnic group will do that. It's because the humanities shared by all human are trying to be free and trying to live good lives. So the desire of well-being actually is the essential cause of those independence or the separation struggle. Thank you.